Recently, you may have known that I have been reviewing more albums, and that's because I fucking well enjoy this format that I am doing. Today we are reviewing Black Crown Initiate and the album Violent Portraits of Doomed Escape. What can I say about this album? 10 out of 10. 10. Well, maybe it's not a 10. Certainly there are many different elements, many progressive elements throughout this album with so many different time signatures along the way. This is definitely one of the best prog metal albums of the year. Tying up with Haken, Caligula Horse. Like, these three bands at the moment are just dominating prog. Although I did talk shit about Caligula Horse's new album, I fucking well love it now. I think it's fantastic. My mate said, hey, listen to it again, so I did. And I'll tell you what, it finally connected to me. So I really enjoy Rise Radiant by Caligula Horse. And this album by Black Crown Initiate is something special. Really love the overall production on this album. Very clean and smooth, and I just love how gritty and raw the guitar tone is. And his vocals are on another level. Really deep and guttural vocals throughout a lot of these songs, incorporating even angelic vocals throughout the choruses. Now, what is a bit samey on this album? Of course, there's a few criticisms. It's definitely not a masterpiece. I feel like the Black Crown Initiate follow this formula throughout this album, where you get harsh and aggressive vocals throughout the first verse, and then cleaner vocals throughout the chorus. Now, there are some really nice catchy choruses throughout this album. When I'm listening to this album again, it feels like this album is quite formulaic. It feels like they are following a formula where you got the first verse, clean chorus, but you really don't get it throughout the first song, which is Invitation, which is really a hard-hitting, soaring, energetic song with harsh, aggressive vocals. His vocals are very dynamic, and then you get the cleaner vocals. Throughout this particular song of Invitation, there's a really nice acoustic backbone passage on this song, which sounds very similar to Opeth. Now, you can tell that this band was inspired by bands such as Opeth. Especially when you get some really nice gritty guitar riffs throughout the song Holy Silence, which is definitely one of the epic songs off the album. But it's not all great, this album. It just feels that this album slightly drags, especially when you get songs like Bellow, which, in my opinion, what was the point of having Bellow on this album? Is it because of expressing the anguish and frustration towards the listener? I'm not too sure, but it really sounds like something out of The Who. It sort of sounds very Mongolian-like. But in my opinion, I just feel that someone has turned the fucking Yeti microphone up and went throughout the whole particular interlude. And that's one negative on this album, is that Bellow should have not been on here because it really split the flow of the album. But certainly there are some really nice components throughout this album. Very progressive, lovely time signatures. Although the choruses may be clean and quite catchy, the verses are so damn aggressive. This band released an album back in 2014, I think, and they were nowhere to be seen until 2020. Well, it really surprised me when they released this album, because throughout their hiatus, they certainly had a lot of problems, and you can tell throughout the lyrics that they are expressing a lot of emotion to the listener. You can tell there's so much anguish. Now, what I love about this particular album is the pure sadness that is conveyed. I just really love the monotone introduction to our Invitation that leads on to such a huge build-up. That just tells me that they are on a different level for a lot of other prog metal bands out there. Like I said, the big three are Haken, in my opinion, Caligula Horse, and now you got Black Crown Initiate. Really showcasing the modern day prog metal sound. And you could also throw Igor as well, and Intronaut, which are the two artists that I don't really enjoy. I do respect them for the musicality, so they deserve to be in the mix with the other bands I have mentioned. The songs overall are pretty good. Invitation is probably my favorite song off the album. Keep talking about it, but some of these songs just flow like water. They really do. It just feels like the Bellow was the one that split up the album, which I wasn't very impressed with. But you can understand that Black Crown Initiate are also having fun. Such as Son of War, which is a pretty quick song, very hard hitting. What I also love about this album is that the drumming is absolutely fucking fantastic and the guitar work as well. Very sounding similar to bands such as Opeth and Gajira. Got that sort of Opethian vibe, this album. Some would relate this to sounding like Opeth, but to me, I feel like Black Crown Initiate definitely have their own sound, even sounding at times Rivers of Nile, actually the proggy metal side. And I'm going to add Rivers of Nile as well to the prog metal scene at the moment because they're a great prog metal band. But Years and Frigid Light is one of my favorite songs just because of the overall blast beats throughout the chorus along with the clean singing. Fucking fantastic song. But overall, this album's pretty tight. It's pretty cohesive. I'm giving this a 8 out of 10. A very enjoyable album. This album's gonna grow on me. It has grown on me throughout further listens. 8 out of 10 it deserves at the moment, but no doubt it's probably gonna rise to an 8.5 or even 9 out of 10 because it's just a pretty solid release by Black Crown Initiate. Of course, you can feel the frustration on the vocals, and it's just an overall pretty solid album by this band. It's definitely their best album. So let me know if you have heard the album in the comment section below. If not, then what the fuck are you doing? Make sure you subscribe, guys. Make sure you subscribe. Actually, don't subscribe. I don't need any more subscribers, so fuck off. And I will see you in the next one.